That was some weird shit. That was my reaction to the address that Donald Trump just gave tonight. A ranting, rambling, raving, screaming meltdown of a speech. It wasn't even a speech though, because multiple times during Donald Trump's diatribe, he was unable to speak. He was just screaming and blurting and bloviating. It was a mess that we are going to get into because it colors the collapsing disaster that is his presidency. So perfect. And the panic that surrounds his White House. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel and us calling out Donald Trump, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, we have a lot to get into in this disaster of a speech and Jasmine Crockett calling out Donald Trump at the end. But I first want to start where Donald Trump did, complaining, which is the only thing he can do besides not being able to talk. But we're going to get to that in just a minute.
11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. When I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years, and some would say in the history of our country, which caused prices to be higher than ever before, making life unaffordable for millions and millions of Americans.
He is pathetic. Can we start there? There's a lot I have to say about all Donald Trump tried to say tonight and what he lied about tonight. But can we just start with that simple fact that the President of the United States is above all else pathetic. He is a whiny little baby who has never taken accountability in his life. He is a draft-dodging loser who has been bailed out time and time again. He is not a billionaire because he knows the keys to success. He is a billionaire because he has been bailed out, and that is what his presidency has been about, bailing out his buddies who rip us off, who scam us, who hurt us, and it is a lie that Donald Trump has created some great economy. The truth is that we are all hurting because of Donald Trump. The only people who have benefited are about 15 rich guys in the Trump family, which is why this lie comes off so ridiculous.
Very importantly, there are more people working today than at any time in American history, and 100% of all jobs created since I took office have been in the private sector. Think of that. 100% of all jobs have been in the private sector rather than government, which is the only way to make a country powerful and great. This historic trend will continue. Already, I've secured a record-breaking $18 trillion of investment into the United States, which means jobs, wage increase.
Does Donald Trump even know how jobs work? Does he know what he is saying? It is difficult for me to imagine that most of this isn't on a teleprompter. So the fact that he is unable to even get through that, again, just shows the cognitive decline that this man is in. And the fact that he was screaming the whole time, screaming, and it just continued. Even in the moments in which he was glitching out, Donald Trump was still screaming because he understands what is happening. His administration is in crisis. Dan Bongino had to resign today because do you know what Friday is? It's not a fun time for Donald Trump. It's the release of the Epstein files. Things are only going to get worse, which is why Donald Trump is only getting angrier. And that's exactly what happened right before he lost the ability to speak.
And far greater national security. Much of this success has been accomplished by tariffs. My favorite word, tariffs, which for many decades have been used successfully by other countries against us, but not anymore. Companies know that if they build in America, there are no tariffs, and that's why they're coming home to the USA in record numbers. They're building factories and plants at levels we haven't seen, AI, automobiles. We're doing what nobody thought was even possible, not even remotely possible. There has never, frankly, been anything like it. 1 year ago, our country was dead. We were absolutely dead. Our country was ready to fail. Totally failed. Now, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world, and that's said by every—
Well, my favorite word is tariffs, and quite frankly, we say they're tariffs. And do you know what tariffs have done? They've destroyed farmers all across this country. They've jacked up prices on every good imaginable. That is what tariffs have done. Your favorite word is tariffs because it is the best tool for you to run your little gangster operation and squeeze world leaders for a gold trophy and a Big Mac, while the rest of us get screwed. It's how you manipulate the market so you and all your buddies and your family can insider trade. So don't tell me about tariffs. Also, don't tell me about the drug prices that you're supposedly cutting by numbers that don't even exist.
Drugs. I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations, which were taking advantage of our country for many decades, to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. In other words, your drug costs will be plummeting downward, and I used the threat of tariff.
How has no one in this administration explained percentages to him? Does he know what down by 600% means? Again, he's reading off of a teleprompter, and he's doing it poorly, mind you, but that doesn't work. Does Donald Trump understand? He literally cannot speak. Those are not words that mean anything. They're just jumbled garbage. They're lies, and it was especially bad when Donald Trump started glitching out at this point of his speech right here.
System that extra really just took the wealth from people, and system that extra really just that extra really just.
I guess the pills. That's how he sounds. The pills are clearly not really just kicking in when they needed to. I think Donald Trump takes a lot of Adderall. I know that Susie Wiles says he has a personality of an alcoholic without drinking, which just makes him an asshole, I guess, which is a perfect description of Donald Trump. But he's certainly taken a lot of Adderall. And then they probably gave him that shot of B12 in the ass right before, and it didn't work for a competent Trump. Not that that's an oxymoron, a competent Trump. But again, it did get him riled up. There was so much screaming and anger. It didn't help him be able to speak, as we saw there, but it certainly got him angry, and that's why he decided, as Donald Trump always does, let's direct some vitriol at brown people, his favorite thing.
Driving up housing costs was the colossal border invasion. We have never been invaded. This is the worst thing that, frankly, in my opinion, the worst thing that the Biden administration did to our country is the invasion at the border. The last administration and their allies in Congress brought in millions and millions of migrants and gave them taxpayer-funded housing while your rent and housing costs skyrocketed. Over 60% of growth in the rental market came from foreign migrants. At the same time, illegal aliens stole American jobs and flooded emergency rooms, getting free health care and education paid for by you, the American taxpayer. They also increased the cost of law enforcement by numbers so high that they are not even to be mentioned. For the first time in 50 years, we are now seeing reverse migration as migrants go back home, leaving more housing and more jobs for Americans. In the year before my election, all net creation of jobs was going to foreign migrants. Since I took office, 100% of all net job creation has gone to American-born citizens. 100%.
It's not the border. Can we get that clear? It's not the border. It's not the immigrants who are doing jobs that nobody else in this country wants to for wages that shouldn't even be legal, that aren't legal, cash under the table, that are paying $100 billion a year in taxes, payroll taxes, Social Security, Medicare, unemployment benefits that they don't see, that they're subsidizing us, in fact, that it's maybe the tech oligarchs who want AI to replace you, the tech oligarchs that don't think that you deserve clean drinking water, but want to send all of our clean water to be used by a data center. Maybe it's those guys who are responsible. Maybe it's those guys who are making life worse. Maybe it's those guys who Donald Trump has allowed to run wild, who are really making America worse. Maybe it's not the immigrants. Have we ever had that thought? Well, Jasmine Crockett certainly did. She went off right here.
President Trump has made it clear that he only opposes lawful immigration when non-white people immigrate to the United States. His immigration agenda isn't about public safety or economic stability or jobs. It's about racism. It was racist during his first administration. It's racist now. And like his first administration, he's hired a bunch of racists to carry it out. In fact, I'm gonna pause here really quickly. I know we're talking about TPS, but I don't know if anyone else has mentioned the fact that ICE agents were literally dragging a pregnant woman just this week in a viral video. So don't tell me that this isn't about cruelty, because it is. Moving on. The president is now on record admitting to calling majority Black and brown nations, quote, shithole countries. He consistently refers to Black and brown people as, quote, low IQ, stupid, or nasty. His agenda is about one thing: giving racial preference to specific people seeking to immigrate to America, which is illegal and unconstitutional. But nevertheless, they are going to keep trying to get y'all to believe that immigrants are the cause of all your problems. But here's the truth. Immigrants are not responsible for a billionaire CEO refusing to increase your wage. The corporation you work for isn't replacing your job with artificial intelligence because of Haitian refugees. Your landlord isn't increasing your rent because someone who's fleeing gang violence in Central America moved into your community. A Palestinian kid who was afforded a scholarship to study at an American university isn't responsible for your child's tuition increasing. Latino farm workers aren't responsible for prices of your groceries increasing. Let's be clear, blaming migrants and deporting migrants and ending TPS won't improve the lives of most Americans. As you can see, we're in the middle of the largest, most inhumane deportation program in American history. And guess what? Housing is still unaffordable, healthcare is still too expensive, groceries are still too expensive, wages aren't keeping up with inflation, jobs are still being outsourced. So maybe it's not the immigrants. Maybe it's the failed Republican policies. In my state of Texas, the Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the governor's mansion. In the United States, the Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Maybe it's the fact that Republicans would rather give permanent tax cuts to billionaires, but won't even give middle-class Americans temporary health care benefits. Maybe it's the fact that President Trump has the wealthiest cabinet in American history, and these people are out of touch with the American public.
Please let us push back on this lie. Please let us push back on this lie. We need more unapologetic Democrats like Jasmine Crockett to do just that and say, look at the oligarchs, look at the billionaires who want to control your lives, who want to surveil you, who want to take all your data, all your time. If they're not making you work for a non-living wage, they're eating up all your hours with their algorithms on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, which they now want to own so you can't see the carnage in Gaza. That is what they want to do. Maybe let's talk about them instead of immigrants. And let's call out Donald Trump. We're certainly going to be every single day on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. Until next time, I'll see you soon.